I've spent thousands of hours on Valorant, hit Immortal in 3 separate acts, and have watched multiple improvement guides myself. So whether you want to escape being hard stuck gold, outrank your friends, or finally hit Immortal this act, this video is for you. Welcome to the simplest guide to improving at Valorant. Before we start however, it's important to note that getting better at Valorant is the same as bettering yourself at anything else. It requires time and consistency. 99% of people won't fail because their aim or game sense wasn't good enough, it's because they weren't patient in seeing progress. First off, you want to give yourself a reason. Why do you want to become good at the game? Find this reason and remind yourself of it each time you have a bad day. It'll help a lot more than you think. Moving on to the next tip, we have what might be quite a sensitive topic. Haha, lol. There are loads of videos out there on how to find your perfect sensitivity, and it can be quite overwhelming for a new player or even an existing player like myself. So I'm going to try and make this section as simple as possible. To find your god sensitivity, hop into the range and hit practice mode. Set your sensitivity between the ranges on screen. Next, try tracking the bot's head. Try and follow his head without overflicking or underflicking, and adjust the sensitivity to whatever you feel helps you do this most accurately. What's the most important thing about this whole section? That you do not change your sensitivity after this. If you consistently adjust your sensitivity, you will never improve and will be resetting yourself each time you do. One of the best ways to get comfortable with your sensitivity is through effective warm-ups. The warm-up shouldn't last too long, so it's important to make the most of it. If you have Kovacs, I'd recommend hopping onto it beforehand and doing some quick aim training. It's not essential, but I would definitely recommend it. Next, I'd hop back into the practice range. Activate the bots, walk towards them, and then practice shooting one bot and quickly flicking to another, always trying to one-tap them. I'd do this for around 5 minutes and gradually start to implement movement in between shots. You can see from this clip how much the 180s actually help. Finally, I'd hop into 2 or 3 death matches, depending on how confident you're already feeling with your aim. This whole warm-up should only take about 20 to 30 minutes. Make sure the warm-up doesn't last too long. This is important. If it lasts too long, you increase your chances of exhausting your aim, boring yourself out before you've even hopped into a rank game, and also discouraging yourself from following this routine daily. I'll go into more detail later, but it's important to remember that aim isn't everything. There's a lot more that goes into being a good Valorant player than just how well you can hit your shots. The next area I want to cover is movement. Having good movement is key to helping you win gunfights, as you'll make yourself a hard target for opponents. So how do you improve your movement? To start off, please make sure you're using A and D when peeking angles rather than W. You'll cover a further distance when sidestepping and won't be walking into the enemy's bullets. All this will make you a harder target to hit. Another technique you need to learn is jump peeking. Jump peeking really isn't hard to learn and can be incredibly useful. You can use it to bait operator shots or to gather info on the enemy team without wasting any util. If you're a more advanced player, you could even swing out with your gun immediately after jumping and try and catch your opponent off guard. Changing your jump bind to scroll wheel can make jump peeking a lot easier. Crosshair placement. You literally hear about crosshair placement in every single tutorial video, but there's a good reason for that. It's key. This step to improving your crosshair placement is not only incredibly simple, but also enjoyable. One of the best ways I've found to improve my crosshair placement is just by watching pro players. Pay attention to their crosshair placement, even put your gameplays side by side, compare them and be honest with yourself. I'd recommend specifically watching for how they hold and clear angles. Deathmatches are again a really obvious way to improve your crosshair placement. Try to not zone out whilst playing, and actually actively think about where your crosshair is on your screen. Your crosshair should constantly be at head level, and if it's not, keep adjusting until you get it right. Moving on, let's talk about positioning. When placing yourself into a position or an angle in Valorant, it should always be with purpose. Always consider why is this angle good, and always have a plan on what to do next. Is this a good position if someone comes swinging around the corner? Am I exposed at a different angle? These are the real questions you should be asking yourself mid-game. Once you start regularly doing this, you'll quickly notice your decision making getting better, and you'll start to recognise bad plays and embrace good ones. Another important aspect of positioning is you as the player holding an uncommon angle. When a player goes to swing out of an angle, they'll automatically move their crosshair to the angles we all expect our opponents to peek from. However, if you sit holding an uncommon angle, they may swing their gun right past you, giving you a free shot. The next skill that now needs to be mastered is agents. The game has a multitude of all different types of agents, and some can appear confusing for new or less experienced players. However, if you want to become a good Valorant player, it's essential to learn the foundations of the agent you're maining and their abilities. I'd suggest choosing a pool of agents, preferably all from the same role, that you want to start mastering in your game. The easiest way to get better at an agent is to watch good players who main that agent, watch how and where they use their util. Furthermore, if you're maining an agent which uses lineups, there are hundreds of videos on TikTok that are only around a minute long, showing you the best lineups for each map. It's now time to talk about the boring stuff, your mentality. It's talked about a lot, yet no one seems to work on improving it. Valorant's a team game. It doesn't matter how good your aim is, if you're constantly losing your head at your teammates, the vibes will be down, and they'll likely play worse, and you'll just end up losing the game.
And that, you fucking tiny brain motherfucker. That's why you'll always be fucking silver and never be fucking good.
Giving callouts is good, but backseat gaming and screaming at players when they do something bad is just going to ruin the experience for everyone. Just remember, at the end of the day, Valorant's a video game. The easiest way to actually get a better mentality is just to stop caring so much. Like, what happens if you lose? Your RR decreases? A number on a screen goes down? I promise, it really isn't the end of the world. And if you're someone who does really care about their stats on Valorant Tracker, honestly, just make them private. And if you're on a losing streak, walk away from the game. Go get something to eat, scroll on TikTok, or go say hello to your family for once. Come back to the game with a fresh mental and a clear head. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy today's video, please consider liking and subscribing. I would really appreciate it, and it would help a small channel to grow. Thanks guys.